Okay, now let's look at the first element, that is proposal. Yes, are you ready? What is proposal? Proposal means offer, means tawaran. Yes, under law of contract, this is very important. Before we can make a valid contract, we must make sure offer come first. Okay, next. What is proposal actually? Okay, actually it has been defined. It has been defined under section 2, subsection A of the Contract Act 1950. Okay, you can see this is the definition. I have highlighted the important words here. When a person signifies his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything. So this is the meaning of offer. So now look at example. We have Mr. Sweetwood wrote offering to sell his car to Mr. Crab for 50k. So in this situation, who makes an offer? Yes, Mr. Squidward. So, meaning that he makes an offer. Okay, we will move to the next slide. Okay, it's about the parties. Okay, the parties here. The person who makes the proposal is known as, yes, promisor, proposer, or offeror. And the person who accepts the proposal is known as, yes, promisee, proposee, or offeree. Okay, so it means that these both parties, they play a vital part because they are the person who will enter into a contract, and the contract will be determined according these two situation. It means it must be a proposal and acceptance. So proposal and acceptance are the main elements actually. Okay, so next, move to the next slide. Okay, how offer can be made? Yes, there are two ways. It can be expressly or it can be impliedly. What is express? What is express? Do you know what is express? Yes, it means tersurat. Okay, tersurat. So it can be made in writing or it can be made verbally. Writing, verbal means in words. Second, it can be implied. Okay, implied means tersirat. Okay, so you can make an offer by conduct or maybe for example by gesture. Alright, next we move to whom offer can be made. To whom we can make an offer? Yes, it can be also to a specific person. For example, individual, a firm, a class of person, or to a company. Okay, whereby for a general, it can be made to the public at large. That's mean to the whole world. Alright, let's move to the next slide. For specific, so it means that offer is made to one person or group of people. So it must be to a particular person. And we have the case here. The first case for today, we have Bolton versus Jones. What happened in this case? Okay, before that, please have a look the name of the parties in this case. So we have Bolton. Bolton means a plaintiff, and Jones means the defendant. And this is the example of a civil case. So why Bolton sued Jones? So first we have a look on the facts of the case. So Jones actually he offered Brocklehurst to purchase certain goods. Actually, what happened after that? Brocklehurst sold his business to Bolton, and Jones did not know about this changing of business. And Bolton just continued the business, and he sent the goods to Jones. Later on, Jones refused to pay after knowing about the facts. And then, in this case, that's why Bolton sued Jones for breach of contract. So because he refused to pay for the goods. And then the court held that Jones was not liable to pay because there was no contract. So if you identify what happened in this case, actually it is a specific offer made by Jones to Brocklehurst. It's not to the Bolton. Alright? Shall we move to the next one? Yes. General offer or general proposal. General, it means it is made to the whole world. Okay, normally general offer it is made in public advertisement, and normally it involve rewards. Okay, please take note this one. Okay, so we have the case here. We have the case of Khalil versus Kaboli Smoke Ball. Okay, Khalil sued Carbolic Smoke Ball Company in 1893. This is the example. This is the advertisement made by Carbolic Smoke Ball. Yes, it involved a reward, and this whereby it involved the advertisement made by one company. They sold their products name Carbolic Smoke Ball. Now let's look at what happened actually in this case. So, if you look at the case of Mrs. Khalil here, at the first instance, the company they issued an advertisement which involved a reward. So they said that any person who bought their product and still succumbed to influenza after using it, so the company will pay that person. And one of the parties here, Mrs. Khalil, she bought and used the product, and she actually prescribed influenza. She caught for influenza. Later, she sued the company for the promised reward. And the court held that actually in this case, the advertisement made by the company was an offer to the public at large. So we need to consider when there is an acceptance. So the court said that acceptance was made on the part of Mrs. Khalil when she bought and used the smoke ball. Therefore, she was entitled for that reward, and the company could not refuse to pay. In fact, the court determined there was a contract between Mrs. Khalil and also the company. Alright? Let's move to the next one. We have, yes, offer must be clear. Offer must be clear. We have the case here. We have Gutting versus Lin. What happened in Gutting versus Lin? The person, he makes an offer that he would pay £5 extra if the horse brings luck. So the term luck here, so it means ambiguous or maybe too vague. Okay, so it reflects that the offer is not clear. So the court held that there is no offer because it is too vague. Alright, shall we move to the next rule? Yes, we have the rule on communication of offer. So the rule here is means that offer must be communicated to offeree. In other words, before he can accept the offer, that means offeree, he must know about the offer. And the rule is laid down under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Contract Act 1950. Okay. And we have cases here. I will discuss only the main cases. We look at the first case is R versus Clark. What happened in R versus Clark? Yes, actually it's involved a murder case. The government, they offered to give a reward for those who gave an information about murderers of the police officers. And one of the arrested person was Clark here. He gave an information about the murderers, but at that time he was unaware of the reward. You know, when the person was arrested, so normally his motive is just want to release himself. So the court held that in this case the claim was failed because of what? Because at that time the motive of Clark was to release himself rather than to get the reward. In fact, at that time he had forgotten about the reward. So can you see this case? If you look at this case, even though the person has the knowledge, but when he forgot about the reward, so it means that there is no acceptance. Okay, there is no